Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Party Wipe, episode 6. Hey Sapphire. I'm glad you saved your stream streak. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Good to see ya. Sorry for throwing you a curveball like this. We postponed Saturday's regular stream for today. I don't know if I regret doing that or not. We'll see. It's gonna be a chill day. Probably won't be too busy. Welcome, anyone over on YouTube or watching the VODs or whatever. We are working on a Roguelike Deckbuilder where you draft an RPG party. We're closing out our first week. First official week on this. In terms of like stream time. I think technically I started working on this on Friday, May 29th, but for accounting purposes, it's been about a week. Thanks, Sapphire. Take it easy. I've done a lot in terms of just working in the background on like card layouts and stuff and formats. So we'll probably finish that up and try to get a scene going. I want to get some card interactions. There's really two big parts of this game, which is one is like the card mechanics of getting the cards playing. And the other is obviously the little tactical battle map stuff. So this is going to look a little crowded. But I've been working on the color choices. I've been working on the cards. So here's a regular card. And then here on the left here is a character sheet. This is the first version of the character sheet I did. It's got slots for all your items. It's a refinement of the one that we did on Friday, which was a good start, but had a lot of problems in terms of structure and spacing and everything else. And so I totally redid it. I rather like this. We have this for all the different colors. I also flipped kind of the UI menu color scheme. Trying to do something that works and leans into some good practices and kind of looks a little like He Is Coming, which is our big aesthetic inspiration, without just straight up aping their UI. And it's a bit of a struggle. But their game is neat because their game is almost entirely a UI. Kind of neat. I'm not sure whether I want to do something around this either, but I've been mocking up stuff like what would the initiative tracker look like? How would a character sheet look like on your roster? We're gonna switch the incredibly epic intro music now. Something I can work to without feeling like I'm trying to rally the troops. Yeah, kind of neat. I kind of like this color setup. We're only using colors from our sprite pack, so we're trying to keep a very cohesive atlas, which is a very cohesive palette. And it's kind of working. Kind of. So like this is our like UI color thing we got going a little bit. It gives kind of a classic kind of retro look, I think. I mean, you know, we've got our 6 levels of cards for poor or for level 1, common or level 2, magic or level 3, rare or level 4, epic or level 5, and then legendary or level 6. Very carefully selected all these colors, and now we've made character sheets in that color set. So here's our level 1 character sheet, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Generally kind of getting a little brighter and a little more intense as we go up. We'll probably do some post-processing eventually, but maybe I'll put some like little details on the sides. Maybe we'll carve out something in relief or something. I don't know. Obvious choices would be like an angel and a demon, but we'll see. I kind of like the spaces that we ended up with on the corners here. They kind of look like where you would put your thumb. Like some intentionally blank spaces so you could actually hold the card. I kind of like that. Kind of a silly detail, but I like it. Are these the same color? No, they're slightly different. That's good. Floral decals? Maybe. I'll look at my book of polychromy. I'll look at like classic detailing options that we have. How's it going? I might even do something with the edges. We could do like a little... We could do a little something on the edges, you know, like... Could do something like that, or... Obviously not with white, but... Could try something like that. I don't know how well that would read, especially because we need to apply those colors around the icons of the actual items. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. They read pretty well in terms of contrast. It gets a little ridiculous at the end, but I have a limited palette, so I think it's all right. What we need to do is we need to rebuild this in a layout form so that these numbers and stuff can be dynamic. Same thing with like the icon fills. So we need to build out some stuff so that this isn't just a flat piece of paper, you know, because like this won't be here and this won't be here. And we'll need to build out layouts that work for everyone. I mean, I guess technically that equipment thing could still be here, but whatever. How's it going, Voidblit? Needs to look nerdcore. Proper Whitebeard wizard nerd stuff. Looks nice. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think we're doing okay. I mocked up a different card back that's given that kind of like retro wizard nerdcore kind of D&D kind of thing. I think it looks okay when you put it all together. You have like a little battle map area. It's a little crowded when the character sheet is out, but the character sheet isn't always going to be out. It's going to collapse into like a smaller version and it will list all of your party members, not just the one. And then you can expand it out to this. So I need to work on that too. But how's it going, Voidblit? Happy Sunday. Hopefully it's a lazy Sunday. But yeah, I think it's looking okay. It's okay enough that I feel like I can move on. Put a discard pile right here, I think. And then in the last corner, we'll put things like an end turn button and maybe some like settings options and maybe your currency or whatever. I kind of want a key slot, like a spot for a key. If you find a key or something, but I don't know. But yeah, I think it's looking all right. Woodblut, it's very lazy today. You finished Fallout New Vegas some time ago. You started playing Control for the first time. Oh, nice. I've heard Control's good. Yeah, I want to play some games later today. I want to play He Is Coming. I also have to spend some time on some other stuff. Sit on my couch, play some games on the Steam Deck. Try to get off of the computer for a while. Turns out it's really hard to maintain a game jam, what's the right word? Pace? Game jam pacing for more than like a weekend, but we're doing it. We're obviously not working as hard as I do over like a 72-hour game jam, but we're being aggressive. Yeah, I've heard good things about Control. I was disappointed to hear that What was it called? Firebreak or something. Their co-op game. I was sad to hear that was disappointing because I think that would have been fun. That would have been a fun game. That would have been a fun game to play. All right, I'm gonna finish the last bite of my croissant here. Pardon me. All right, that was tasty. Hey, LSG, how's it going? This is coming along. Yeah, I worked on a lot on the character sheet, and I redid the color scheme for like the UI elements. I think it looks okay. This is a localization nightmare. I literally am not going to be able to localize this game, and you know what? That's okay. I'm gonna live with that. It's not gonna be a huge story game anyway. Very mechanical game, but how are you doing? How are you doing, LSG? Yeah, I really want to put a discard pile like right here. We're slightly eating into the battle area, but you'll notice these balls here. So these aren't actually included in the battle map. These are like boundaries. So sometimes they'll be here, sometimes they won't. If you're in an underground dungeon, they'll be here, but if you're just wandering around the forest, they won't. So it looks like we're settling on an 8x6 battle map. Should be all right. Pretty simple, complexity space-wise. Smaller than Into the Breach. I could conceivably do things to make it bigger, but I think it's all right. I think this will be enough space. We'll see. We'll see if I'm proven wrong. But I think it's shaping up. I think it's shaping up. I'll show you some of the character sheets. Pretty. I had some rough additions yesterday, and then my master of graphic design partner helped me realize what I was doing wrong. And I did a second draft this morning before going live, and pretty happy with these. This one's a little hard to read, but it's a legendary. This is like a level 6 legendary, so I do kind of want it to be brighter and more intense and be like, whoa, well, you got a level 6 legendary compared to like this, which is like, this is trash, right? Trash mob. 4 common, magic, rare, epic, legendary, you know, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's okay. It uses the same colors as the cards. I think it looks okay. Kind of weird that it does this CMY thing around the outside. And then so, you know how this will work, right? Like, so you got like a level, let's say you have a level 1 knight and he puts on like a helmet. 25 stream streak. Hell yeah. Hey, Nanigans, how's it going? Yeah, no, localization is rough. You're working on a visualizer for your cousin's song. Nice, nice. Nanigans, it looks like it's really coming along. You haven't followed along too close for the last few days. Yeah, no worries. We are rushing. Hey, Arneo. Well, I'm glad to see people here. I felt bad being like, I'm doing the stream on Sunday. Felt a little bad. But it seems like it's okay. Seems like everyone's here. What's I doing? Grabbing some armor. So let's say you're like... So you get this sick helmet. And you happen to be level 1, whatever. Doesn't matter. So you've equipped a helmet. And let's say that helmet is like... See, that helmet is like an epic helmet. I don't know if there should be level requirements. Like, I don't know if you should be able to equip a higher level item than your character is. I think that could be interesting, but I don't want to commit to that at the moment. And so you're like, oh, cool, it's like an epic helmet. And so super simple shorthand for telling you what like your equipment levels are, right? It would probably be a cooler looking helmet than this, honestly. It would probably be like... Probably be like this. Kind of bitchin' helmet. Something like that. And we'll do that for all of the... Here's like the passive equipment, like your armor. Here's your active toolbar, which is like a potion, your main hand, your offhand, and then like a snack. And then at the bottom, there are these slots that are going to be like your class abilities or your spell slots or something like that. Hey, Gabor, how's it going? Hey, Vita Morta. Good evening. Hey, Indie Gates. Okay, all right. Everybody, get in here. Oh yeah, LSG? Didn't know that. Manigans, you're not usually on Sundays. You just jumped on to work for your game a little bit. Nice. Appreciate you swinging by. Yeah, I felt bad. I was worried about Sapphire especially, but they were the first person. And yeah, I think this will be a good system. It's gonna be an okay system. So I'll put this all back to its default state. What I just realized, though, is we do need to... So each level, I think you unlock one of these. So let me grab this. Where are these? Environment. What is this called? Gate? No. Maybe? No. Door cage. Interesting. So each level will unlock one of these. So level 1 will replace one of these with an unlocked version. So you've unlocked your first ability, level 1. Level 2, you'll have unlocked 2 of them, etc., etc. To level 5 when you or level 6 when you finally have all 5 slots unlocked. Level 1 will have nothing unlocked. We're showing the lock. We're showing the lock early. Show the lock before you show the key, whatever, right? I know that's me kind of misusing that term, but whatever. I'll do what I want. How's everyone doing this weekend? Gabor, can you ask a question? You're making a game jam game with a stat system. You were wondering how you handled the stats in your game, or what's your plan? I have not. The plan, here's the plan. Here's what you do. You got a spreadsheet for all your stats. You do it in a spreadsheet. I don't care if it's Excel or if it's Google Sheets, but I'm pretty sure... Just verifying something. So what you do is you just build a, get your database however you want it. You could Excel, Google Sheets, whatever. Get it as a CSV or something, and then turn that into something that you can use as a database in your game. Like have it export to like a JSON file or something, depending on what your process is in your engine and how you're doing it. Okay, nice. We got the unlocks for the different levels. That's fun. Do it so that you don't actually have to hand change anything. Just do it so you can change the data sheet, re-export it. You like the orange color? Good, because it's really bright. It's a little too bright, but I think it'll be okay because it's like it's the pinnacle of achievement for your character, so I think it makes sense that it's a little much. I was gonna redo this lock look, but I actually kind of like this gate deal. I think I'm gonna keep this. I like it. Yeah, so if we take one at random, like this one, export it. Oops. Selected frames only. How's everyone doing? Nyx is, I think Hungarian. Yeah, Arneo. Why are we having a hard time here? I don't want to do an animation. I want to do visible layers, selected frames. I've only selected one frame. Just PNG it. There we go. And so here we are over in UI world. Here's what we're looking at. I think it looks all right. One could argue that I've gone a little too far in terms of having a finished version of the UI, but this is part of my game jam approach, which is like your first version of something is often the version you're going to use, so you might as well have one that you're happy with and then move on. Looks great, thanks. Yeah, I've tried a different color setup. I think it's all right. I think it's all right. I looked at how He Is Coming did it, and I wanted to do it just the way they do it, but, you know, it's good to do things your own way. Good to do things your own way. Still got a lot of good ideas out of it, though. But yeah, so what we need to do is we need to update the roster tabs, because this sheet isn't always going to be out. It'll only be out when you, like, click into one of the tabs. So all your party members will have tabs in the roster. Same with the enemy. And you can click into one and see what kind of equipment they're rocking and what their stats are and stuff. Nanigans, you've started doing a bunch of GD script programming finally. One of your kids is starting to dabble in making games in Godot. Nice. He made a bunch of stuff in Scratch. GD's a lot more accessible than C#. You've been leaning in or learning things to help them out. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah. Yeah, this game is entirely going to be done in GD script. There's no reason for me to branch out for this, especially because I want a web build. Like the first version of this game that's going to be up is the web build for testing and stuff, so no reason for me to go beyond GD script on this project. Your next game should also have more crazy colors. Yeah, why not? As crazy as all these colors are, they're entirely represented with maybe one exception, which is that purplish background color I'm using. But except for that, which I could probably replace if I wanted to. I think every single color in here is one that I've pulled from our sprite pack. So it's all very cohesive, as crazy as it is. I think it gives a nice retro look. I need to work out what I'm going to do with the bottom right corner. We need to have like a currency thing. So you need to be able to track what currency you have. These roster things are also going to expand or contract depending on what's here. So if like you don't have any party members in the field, this will contract seriously, and then maybe there will be a little text on there of like, play a unit card or a hero card or something. Play a hero card something like that. Yeah, could I replace the purple? I don't think I have I don't think there's a color that I have that's anywhere close to this. No. Yeah, so I took this out of a Zenit 241, which is still my default palette for whatever reason. I really need to build a palette out of all these colors so I don't have to go look when I need colors. That's what I've been doing this weekend, is just going around and looking for the color that I need. That has been a rough process, so maybe I'll build a palette out of this stuff later. But yeah, if I grab the floor tiles... Yeah, this is way darker than, like, the purple for the mushrooms or something. So yeah, so with the exception of one color, it's close to this gray. Yeah, with the exception of one color, everything is in the palette. And that was just to provide the UI some kind of distinction from the background. But yeah, I like it. I'm feeling good about it. I think this character ability thing is going to be really neat. See how your characters become way more versatile. Man, it is going to be hard. When one of your characters die and you have to put them back on the board and re-equip them, that is going to be an interesting struggle. That is going to be an interesting struggle. I managed to keep these cards the same for the most part. Reasonably pleased. Gabor, great idea. You use Godot. Maybe you make a resource. Yeah, so you make a resource for each, like, row or whatever, assuming you have, like, for me, I'm going to have each card. So, like, you'll have knight card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever. Sword card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'd have like 6 rows for each item, and then there'll be the columns of like, this has attack, it has defense, it has moves and action and whatever, and then you just build a little... I'm making cards that need to read the resources, but yeah, you can just have a thing that takes the data from the CSV, however, either from as JSON or whatever you do, and you just build each... just rebuild the resources based on the current balance. And then you can balance directly in the spreadsheet. You know, you can apply formulas and like be like, oh, we need to lower everyone's attack by 33% or something like that. A little harder for me because I plan on using whole numbers for everything. Gonna be a little trickier, but yeah, eminently feasible for sure. All right, so what I need to do is I need to update these tabs. So these tabs are like how the cards are going to appear. And this is the old system. This is about as small as I can get because Warlock is our longest word. And look at me. Look at Wrong Layer Dave at work here. There we go. All right, so... Oops. Get rid of these. So let's fix all of these first thing. We're going to change these colors anyway, but whatever. I don't know what I want to do today. I'm trying to tell myself it's a lazy day and I don't need to go that crazy. So we'll see. I might, honestly, I might make some cards. I'm either going to make cards or I'm going to do some UI stuff with the roster. I'm not sure how to handle the character sheet yet. I'm not sure if I want to mess around with it as if it was a card. I don't think I do because it's not a card, but it might hook into some of the card API stuff, which makes sense. But it'll probably be a kind of bespoke thing still. So let's grab the right colors. Let's fix all the shadows first. That seems like an easy way to start. Hey, Arneo, you tried to export your project for the first time today. Didn't work, of course. You have plenty of documents reading. To not looking forward to. What are you exporting it to? Web? What color is this? Okay, black. Alternative card back. Gabor, maybe it's a stupid question, but if you have like 4 characters, do you need 4 sets of stats like strength and dex? You have like 4 characters. Do you mean like you want each character to have like, this is their area of expertise? Like the barbarian is strong, the rogue is quick, the wizard is smart, that kind of thing? Unclear if you're referring to me or like the abstract you. Like 1. Does 1 need? Maybe. That's not how we're doing it. We're not going to do RPG stats. We're going to do... These are all the stats that characters are going to have. Well... It's not all the stats the characters are going to have. We need to have like a magic caveat here, I think. But magic resistances are complicated enough that they weren't going to fit on here anyway. There will probably be like a... There will probably be a branch for attack and defense, like a tooltip, where if you hover over attack, you can see like either here, or maybe what you'll do is you'll see for your item or your spell how much attack you do. We'll have to see. See how. But yeah, otherwise this is all the stats. Yeah, web HTML thing. Does your project use compatibility mode? Or is it forward plus? Or mobile? You said you're too tired to troubleshoot it now, so I won't mess with it, but... That's an easy one. It's an easy reason why it wouldn't work. I've definitely done that. Indicates, do you load resources via load file stuff? Not totally sure the context of that. Oh, you mean for Arneo? Are they doing some like resource loading that fails in the export for some reason? I don't know what that would be. Oh yeah, I'm updating these. I'm like, what am I doing again? Updating these. Okay, this is the same. That's good. It's also the same. Just darkening the background seems to be the main thing that we're doing here. Oh yeah, that's a different color at least. Oh, by Glob. It's Nourish. Raid alert. We're going to replace these sound effects soon. Some more thematically appropriate ones. Raid alert. Hide the code. Welcome, Raiders. And Nourish to Party Wipe. A roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. We're closing out our first week here, really. You could call it starting our second week, but it's not how it feels. How's it going? How was the stream? What are you up to? Failed to load a resource? Yeah, Indie Gates is probably onto something there. Yeah. Throw it in troubleshooting if you have a problem. How's it going? Gabor, what you mean is you'll have 4 characters each with their own stats like hunger, speed, etc. Do you only need one resource for all 4 characters, or does each character need its own separate resource? You would have a resource for each like set of for each character. Each character would have its own resource if those stats were different. So that would be the easy way to do it. Like our knight card will have, you know, there will be a level 1 knight card, a level 2 knight card, a level 3 knight card. Those will just be different resources because they'll have different stats associated with them. Stream was good. You did some playtesting, fixed some bugs. Hell yeah. How's it going here? It's pretty cool. It's pretty good here. We're wrapping up, I think, a lot of the UI work on our little roguelike deck builder. I mocked up a whole UI with like card art. I made a character sheet this weekend. It's kind of what I just finished. Redid kind of the UI distribution of things. Trying to work out the rest of the card interactions. Just getting that working. And then we're going to move on to the actual tactical battle map stuff. Because the idea with this game is it's a card-based kind of little party RPG, but the cards are the things. They're not the verbs. So you'll have a knight on the battlefield and you will draw cards, and maybe you're like, I need to put a new weapon on my knight so they can fight this elemental. Or maybe your character died, so you're like playing a new one and you're like re-equipping them and stuff. So we're working out some of that stuff. We're working out the UI part first. But I think it's looking all right to start. I think we'll be moving on to some other stuff soon. That said, it is Lazy Sunday, so we're trying not to go too crazy today. Last time you raided, I was working on an FTL. Like, yeah, we've paused that. I paused working on that a couple weeks ago to try to make something that I could finish in like 6 months instead of my other game, which is like a many-year dream game. We've learned a lot from game jams, and we're trying to take a different approach with this game and make it very quickly. So yeah, this is our progress on episode 6 of the stream, which doesn't feel terrible. But yeah, we're working all this stuff. We're trying to make something fast. So the other stuff is paused while I work on this. Party wipe. Can you share? Yeah, share it all. I would love to see what you're doing. Yeah, this is a new game. Let me give you that shout out that I always forget about. Shout outs Nourish. You got a 3v3 map from today. You got it in video. I don't know if you've showed the game before, but we're going to watch it now. How's the audio in this? There isn't anything that will get me, like, copyright struck. Seems okay. All right, we're going to watch this. This looks good. I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing. Pause the music in case there's anything going on in here. Hey, Rhiannon. Yeah, I don't know how regular this is going to be as far as rescheduling. Yeah, Gabor. It's a resource for each unique combination of stats. Or you know, whatever else. They might have the same stats but they have a different name or something. This is cute. I see some spells on the bottom. We got some people in here. I do have music on, although you won't be able to hear it. So let me fix that. This is cute. Is this like a this looks like very deathmatchy. Oh, did you just become an archer or something? Or you equipped a magic bow? There's no music to this, so I'm gonna play some music. So that we can get hyped. Let's find a good one. You change your class by picking up items. The sound effects sound great. Okay, is this kind of like a MOBA kind of? Maybe not MOBA, but this is like a party, like maybe an Overwatch. I can't tell if there are teams or if it's like very like FFA. Oh no, there are teams. It's right at the top. Team 1, Team 2. So that's cool. Kind of like an Overwatch kind of thing. It looks slick. Ooh, there's a purple staff that guy dropped. Someone probably wants that. I see some spells in the background. They're K-Kit characters. No worries. The environment is real. That's interesting. So is it going to be very, because this is very contemporary environmental art. So is it going to be kind of like a Yankee and King Arthur's court kind of deal? Is it like, but like in reverse? Oh no, you're dead. Is it going to be like fantasy characters in like a modern environment or something? It's very interesting. More realistic than this? Okay. So the fact that these are like wizards and archers and stuff now is like an implementation detail. This looks solid. I would be terrified of doing anything in multiplayer, let alone a competitive thing in multiplayer. So, serious kudos to you. I like that there's all this equipment and you're like, I'm not interested in that because I'm a wizard. You're using your own network protocol and server-side ND system? Hell yeah, that's very cool. I've made an ND system, but it would not handle something like this. Oh no, you're dead. Or is everyone else like leveling up when that happens? Sick. Oh, and you're like leveling up your spells too? Cool. Oh, I do see the spell with like sneakers on it. So I do see like an indicator of, oh, did you change classes when you picked up a weapon? So you can like hot swap your class with like new equipment. That seems neat. I like it. It gives like old school like Unreal Tournament, like you're fighting over a lot of like gear that just spawns on the map and like you're trying to like hold on to it. But it's also got some like team fight stuff, like very Overwatch like team fight kind of dynamics too. This is sick. Yeah, let's bounce around a little bit. This is great. Is this in an established engine or is this all like your own systems, like your own framework and stuff? Unreal Tournament and Quake are big inspirations. Yeah, I feel that for the way that the level is set up and the way items are like scattered about. Yeah, you seem to like going and grabbing this wizard gear. It's whiz-biz. Got some archers. This is very cool. Turn the effects down a little bit. I am color me impressed. Godot engine? Hell yeah, you love to see it. Yeah, this is slick. What's your plans for this? Oh no, you're like levitating. Or are you casting some kind of crazy spell? Oh, you were like floating up into the air to cast like this omega spell or something. That's what that looked like. That was cool. This is great. "20 seconds. Who's gonna win? I can't tell because there doesn't seem to be a score." Shank. Team 2 captured something. Oh no, you died. Defeat. That was awesome. That is looking like that'll be a good time. Wow, thank you for sharing that. Super cool. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was awesome. I'm always happy to see a Godot game. And yeah, that from a technical standpoint, that looks like quite an achievement already. What was I doing? Oh yeah, fixing the tabs. I think I finished this one. Yes. Yes. Gonna be chill, nice chill watch for a bit. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, we're not doing much today. I'm just fiddling around with UI stuff still. But yeah, I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for popping by. This is okay. I used to have the gray be more blue, but then this had to be more indigo, and then this had to be like there was this like series of knock-on, but I think I've settled. I think this is all right. This is all very recognizable. Nicer orange there. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, this seems fun. This seems good. And then so what's gonna happen is these are the tabs that will like pop up. These will be what's in this roster, and then if you click on one, it'll expand out to the character sheet. So if I was to just add like a texture rect, and I was to throw that texture on here. Oh, it would help if I exported the new version. So these will sit in here. And I left room for 6 of them because I think that's what the enemy roster... Well, that's as much as you can fit here, and I think that'll probably be an arbitrary limit I set. Because, like, you're only going to ever have 4 characters, so you'll never have more than 4 things here, but the enemy might have more than 4. I think 6 is a reasonable number. There's probably room for more. Like, we could probably go up to, like, 8. for enemies. But the thing about a turn-based game, especially if you have like a combat system like this, and everyone goes once each turn, turn economy is like the big action economy of like, that's why it's like in D&D, sometimes it's like too easy to just fight one enemy, which is why they have like things like legendary actions and stuff like that. Is because if there's 4 of you and only one enemy, then you guys get 4 turns every time they get to do something. And like that snowballs really quickly. So I'm like trying to stay mindful of that with how much space we provide here. But yeah, so these will pop in. And then like if you click on one of them, that one will, the others will go away, and then that one will expand to like this, right? That's like the idea. So the character sheet will expand out, and then you can collapse it back down. It's the idea. I think all of those look okay. I think when you see them all there together, they don't seem like they clash too much. They seem okay. They seem okay next to each other. None of them seem to really blur or anything weird. I might add like a little spacing between them just so that they're not right next to each other. Like maybe we add like a 2-pixel spacing or something. Gotta go grab something to eat? No worries, no worries. So yeah, I need to be able to collapse these, which I could do a number of ways, but the easiest way would be to just would be to just have different sizes of them for the different numbers. We really do have more space on the right that we could manage if we wanted. Quick sanity check, because I'm pretty sure this is true, but I just want to double check that a 2-line name will still fit here. I'm pretty sure it will. If I do this and I say plague, doctor. Plague doctor. Does that still fit? Okay. Yeah, that fits all right. So we can have 2 or 1-line names. I'll have to be careful when we're naming enemies, but, you know. Skeleton, that's going to be tough. It might be. We might be cute and name them like Skellies. Skeleton. Skeleton is pretty long. Maybe it still fits though. Yeah, it kind of fits. Maybe it's fine. Bone boy. There you go, Rhiannon. Exactly. The bony boy. Skeleton actually perfectly fits. It's the same length as Warlock. Warlock. Yeah, it's exactly the same length as Warlock. It's 1 pixel longer than Warlock. That's all right. That's all right. We can live with that. We can always move this level thing over slightly if we have to. Warlock. Yeah, 1 pixel longer than Warlock. And having the pre-made assets is so nice. You have so much visual progress. Oh, yeah. I arguably should not have done this much. I was getting a lecture. Both about putting contrast where it should be and also about gray boxing. And I was like, you know, I don't gray box because I work at such a small resolution that for me it just makes sense to just make the thing. Like, I don't feel like I save a lot of time. And I feel like I figured out a lot. Like, we figured out how many stats we could fit on a card, how many abilities or whatever we could fit. Like, we made so many design. There's such a circular relationship between trying things out, especially in UI. Like, exploring the space and then having those constraints come back and influence the design. Like, this didn't feel like it was a poor use of time. I'm quite pleased with where we're at. Obviously, we need to focus on making these things work now. But yeah, you won't catch me wireframing. Yeah, I like it, and it's a distinct look. I was worried for a while that I was gonna end up with like the "He is coming" UI, and honestly, it's a good UI. Like, it's a great UI. But I wanted something distinct, and I'm not as good at drawing all these little details. We're also at a much smaller resolution than they are. I don't know what their resolution is, but I would not be surprised if it's at least 720p. It's definitely higher than 360. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, yeah. I would guess something. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's something. Maybe it is 360p. They're really good. It's very, very good use of the resolution. But yeah, we'd have so many problems like text readability. I need to play this game. I might play this today. This might be my treat. Whoa, what happened to all the effects? I just realized none of the post-processing effects are present anymore. Where'd they go? Here they are. Here they aren't. Maybe that's just a screenshot, a trick of the screenshots. Maybe these are... Yeah, there's just two that where they just someone turned off the post-processing. Kind of interesting. I guess that's probably better for like readability. Looks totally different though. Like the difference between this and this, night and day to me. We'll have to do some stuff like this, but we'll add that stuff in later. But yeah, big influence. Big influence. But I think we ended up with our own little flavor. I've definitely went for more of like a D&D kind of look to everything. More card. I'm leaning into the card part pretty hard, I think. Trying to. Game design and UI design are very tied together, at least in this type of game. Yeah. Yeah, I want to get the card interaction stuff sorted out, and then we'll start working on the actual battle map stuff. I'm a little worried I've not left myself enough room. But, you know, I've actually bought some more space, so I could actually probably widen the battle map back out again. Because I actually narrowed the size of this card. So we could probably widen it. I don't think we can make it any taller than it currently is. Between the initiative tracker and where your hand is going to be, which is like down here. I don't think we can make the battle map any taller, but we could go out one more. Although we might get an unfortunate tangent with the roster line, which is probably why I'm not going to do that. I also might just not draw anything around the outside. Around the outside, around the outside. Might just leave the outside blank, and then we would draw interior walls. I have to figure that out. So what if I made this wider? Just copy some random stuff over. So what would this be? This would be 10 by 6. I would like this better for a battle map. I would like 10 by 6 better than 8 by 6. I would like a little bit more depth, just so that it's a little harder to get to the ranged fighters, because we're definitely going to lean really hard into like opportunity attacks. Like all tactics games are really about getting the enemy into your firing range while keeping them out of your firing range. I think we're going to do a very chess-like thing where like you have attack patterns, and it's not just like, are you in range? It's like, are you in a line with this character? So like an archer could maybe shoot the way like a queen moves or something like that. Like they can go forward, back, side, side, and diagonal, but they can't necessarily go like at some arbitrary point. So that A, you can like rush a ranged unit because you can move outside of their line of fire, and you could theoretically make it harder to like close, like by having like, if you put a melee unit in front, now they need to cross that person's opportunity attack area, which for people unfamiliar with like D&D, an opportunity attack is when someone moves out of your engagement range with your weapon, right? So like if you and I are fighting and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore, as you leave my engagement range, I have the opportunity to attack you back. And I think stuff like that could lead to more layered, interesting combats. And I think part of that means you need this kind of depth of, you need to be far enough away that you can actually manage that stuff. Hey, Nanigans, you're gonna head out, get some errands done. No worries. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy it. I think I could live with this. I think I could live with the character sheet partially obscuring the battle area. And if I hide this... Hey, this doesn't actually totally form a tangent. Hey, we could actually do this. All right, we're back. Okay, good. And then, in fact, these areas are going to collapse down if there's nothing here, so they won't always be in the way. They'd collapse down. So I think what I would like to do is make some different versions of these that scale up and down so that we can swap them as you play more units. The roster will expand. And then if you look at the character sheet, the roster also expands. Having the pre-made assets is so nice. You have so much visual progress. I know. I mean, I did the whole UI from scratch. But yeah, having all the sprites and stuff has been super helpful. It's helped me really, really focus my efforts and provide a visual thing. I was mentioning this earlier too, but all of the colors we use in the UI, with the exception of this background purple, but every single other color we're using is from the palette. And I think that's neat because there's like an almost like psychological understanding of like who's what to an extent, maybe. Maybe there's some things we could do suggestively, like gray is common, right? So maybe when you like run into, maybe this isn't always true because obviously for difficulty reasons, you'll need to be able to encounter higher level versions of enemies. But like you might look at the skeletons and be like, oh, these skeletons are like regular boys because they fit that same color palette. But then maybe when you run into like the demons, I don't know if this totally works, but this kind of is what I have in my head a little bit, which is like, oh, these demon boys are epic. Like, if you run into one of these, you should intrinsically know that you're like, this is gonna be hard. Or if you run into like a dryad, maybe you're like, oh, okay, so they're magic because they're in the magic color spectrum. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that works out. But that doesn't need to be an explicitly obvious or always consistent thing, but I feel like it hints. It hints at stuff. It hints. It's suggestive of something, I think. What did I do? Oh, I've been messing around with the text. Right. So we're going to save this. What I need to do is I need to make a bunch of texture atlases or atlas textures so that I can actually use these. And yeah, we need to break up the character sheet so that I can actually dynamically fill them as well. Those are two things we need to do. I like this though. I think this is a big improvement on what I had Friday. It's a big improvement of even what I had this morning. I don't think you're in danger of confusing any of these. How's this look against the expanded one? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I can live with that. All right, all right. I got my 6x10 or my 10x6 battle map back. That feels good. That feels like enough space. I was feeling a little crowded with the 8x6. How are we doing in terms of the discard pile? Slight overlap. Slight overlap. There's an argument to be made to put the discard pile over here. And part of it is that, like, when one of your characters die, right? All of their cards, so, like, all of their unit cards, their equipment cards, whatever, all of it goes to the discard, right? And if the discard is down here, that means everything gets dumped from here straight down here. But if I put the discard over here, A, it's out of the way. I did kind of want an end turn button over here, though. And somewhere I need to put some settings icons, like a gear icon or some kind of UI menu, kind of options menu. But if you do this, then when someone dies, all of their gear will fly all the way across the screen into the discard. And I think that's pretty cool, too. You'll definitely notice a lot more if all of that happens. I kind of like underneath, because then it's kind of just everything's kind of getting dumpstered. And you're not always going to have stuff in your discard. So I think it's okay to do this. And you're only slightly covering up. I'm a little more concerned about covering stuff up with the discard pile, because the discard pile, you can't, like, move that. I think it would be more intuitive if the discard pile is over here. But then there's the question of, like, well, then where do you put the buttons? Maybe the discard pile's here. And then we can still have, like, an end turn button or something. I don't know if I can fit the word turn here, but... maybe yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You have a small tilt of the card when you move it. Yeah, I didn't make this. We're using a lot of assets and plugins. This is from the Simple Cards plugin. Highly recommend. I'm still learning how it works. But yeah, you get a lot for free. I'm opening it up now. Cause yeah, we're being part of my game jam workflow and mindset here is to be like less precious about doing everything myself. Because that's usually what happens when I'm making a quote unquote dream game, right? I want to do everything right. I want to do everything myself. I'm just using their stuff. This is like their Balatro example. So I can be like, I've got 2 pair. So you can, all of these interactions are already set up. So all of this card stuff I can make use of by just calling into their card API. Pretty cool. Pretty slick. You can relate. Yeah, I thought you could. I had a feeling like you'd be able to relate to that. I actually don't know how to play this game. Maybe that's what I should do. I should develop a Balatro addiction. Oh, that was a poor choice for discard. But yeah, all of these card interactions are very solid. But yeah, I get all of these kinds of I can look at my deck. I can investigate the deck. Put that in a scrolling container probably. But yeah, it's really slick and it's got lots of stuff for like specifying hand areas. You know what I can't figure out is how to make it so you don't see ghost card size. Oh, I see. Oops. Preview use layout. No. Preview enabled. I see. And what if I go here? So what I don't like and what I would like to get rid of. Is this a card slot? Oh, it's just a button. Interesting. Where's my draw pile? Oh, it's here. So how do what I want to do is I want to make these not be visible. But I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I'll figure it out. It's not the show cards thing. There's a slight area you can kind of see where stuff goes. Yeah. Whatever. But yeah, so we need expanding and contracting rosters for these tabs so that I can put tabs in there. So let's work on that. It's keep working on expanding the UI functionality or just make a ton of cards. And I think it's probably more interesting if I expand the functionality. I could just make cards and card resources so that I could actually have a deck, a starting deck. It's kind of the way the game works is there's a bunch of potential characters. You don't start with all of them. You start with just 4 of them. And so your 4 adventurers that you get to pick for your adventure, they form the suits of your deck, quote unquote. Suits as in like, you know, diamond, heart, club, spade, whatever. And so your default one is going to be Bard, Knight, Ranger, Wizard. But as you play the game and unlock more card packs, like different characters or suits, either by defeating them in battle in the map or like finishing their quest lines or something. So like the alchemist is going to be the potion shop manager or something like that. Or associated with the potion shop in some way. Maybe. I don't know. They seem kind of villainous, actually. You could probably fight the plague doctor. Then instead, on your next run, you could be like, you know, I actually don't want to bring the ranger. I want to bring the druid. Or I don't want to bring the knight. I want to bring the demon knight. Who I'm tempted to recolor, but maybe not. Respect the artist's intentions. But it would be cool. You'd be like, I don't want to bring a wizard. I'll bring a witch. Stuff like that. I think it'll be cool. Folders. I might change my folder structure later, but right now we're going to do this. Do it this way. Add a folder. Call it roster. Maybe we'll call it tabs. No, we'll say roster. And then in roster, we can put a folder called tabs. And then so in here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to make Atlas textures so that we can reference just one of these at a time, because they're all baked into the same sprite Atlas. So we need to be able to utilize them separately. Can I not do that here? Resource. Does an Atlas texture count as a resource? Yes, it does. So we'll say it'll be a roster tab level 1. And so the roster tab level 1 will reference the roster tab sprite sheet, but it will just be, remember what the size of these are, 32 pixels? Yeah. And we just do that until we have all of them. I'm way more willing to use resources in this project than I have been in the past, because I was so concerned about, like, oh, I should put that in the name, shouldn't I? Roster tab level 1 Atlas texture. In fact, what I could do is I could just duplicate these. Level 2. And this one is offset by 32 pixels. Easy, easy, easy. We're having a good time today. I've been having a hard time doing anything except work since I started this project. But it's been a good time. It's been a good time. Got to try to do some domestic upkeep stuff after this, though. Dishes got to be done. Dinner's got to be cooked. You know, all that good stuff. You know, people like to say they live and breathe game dev, but, you know, turns out you can't actually eat game dev, you know? Still got to eat food. But we're having a good time. All right, I've got all my roster tabs. So I'm going to do an experiment here. I'll add a texture rect. I want to see what this looks like with a slight buffer or barrier or whatever. This on the UI layer. I want to see what this looks like if I put a slight gap between the different roster tabs. Why is this size 40? That seems wrong. There we go. Why is this size 40? Why is this position 10? Oh, because of those extra 2. So this one will be 42 down, and then let's add a little bit of a buffer just to see what that looks like. I think I prefer that rather than them. Yeah, they're definitely going to need to be a little bit of buffer. I could put a different texture on this one. Arneo, beginnings of projects can be like that. Very all-consuming. Yeah. I don't think we're going to let up anytime soon. I've made hard choices already. I've committed myself to not really do any more game jams this year, which is harder for me than it is for you, believe me. And by that I mean it was harder for me to commit to that than it is for anyone to tell me not to do it. But I think it's true, because if I'm treating this as like an all-consuming game jam kind of thing, then, you know, one would not do 2 game jams simultaneously. So it kind of betrays the lie if I don't treat it that way. And 10 plus 2. We're just checking to see if this roster max size will fit with the spacing. And then with the spacing, we can do a 1 pixel outline. We can do a 1 pixel outline for when you've for mouse hover, kind of mouse hover stuff. Oh, you know what? Are these just buttons? These might just be buttons. That is what they are. You know, if one of your characters die, does it make sense to leave the tab up but like disabled? Probably not. Do I want you to be able to reorder them? I kind of do, actually. Maybe not. Gotta have support for people to reorganize things for no reason. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. I know I would like to do that. I mean, what we could do is we could have like sorting buttons on the side here, but it'd probably be easier to just make it so you can drag them around, which is why I was like, am I going to just use the card logic for a lot of this? Because like I could use the hand reorganizing logic. Like I could design these as specialized versions of the cards, and like honestly that might be one of the better options. Also, I did something here. Oh no, I just didn't have it moved out all the way yet. All right, okay, we need a little more room. We need a little more room. This is too close. This is too close. And then if instead I had the character sheet open. So the other question is, what do I do with everything else when the character sheet is open? I guess it's just they're just there and then they're underneath and you just can't see them. Wait, why is this off a little bit compared to the others? Oh, that was me. That's on me. All right, so this needs to be a little bigger. Not much bigger, though. Maybe 4 pixels bigger. That looks okay. Although, wait, no. It doesn't need to be 4 pixels bigger, because you're not going to have 6 people. You're never going to have 6 characters. Most you'd have is 4. And then so as long as it fits this, it's okay. If anything, this might be a little too big. Unless I want to make it bigger and make it so that you can see one of the other characters somewhere in the roster. I don't really want to do that. We're also running up to like an we're getting uncomfortably close to this. I kind of want to reposition the text in that, honestly, is what I want to do. Arneo, this might be a nitpick, but why does it say your party roster? Should it just be party roster? I want to say something like that, just because the thing is, the card back down here says party wipe. And the other one says the enemy roster. I don't know. Is it a nitpick? The game is telling you they're yours. Like, is your really that big of a problem? I don't know. I could get rid of that, because party roster and enemy roster actually work out okay. I could remove the your and the. That's probably stronger. I'll try that. I want to redesign them anyway. So yes, I think that would qualify as a nitpick, but we'll probably do something about it anyway. Why does it say 0.9? Weird. So how do I need to see where the medium is here. 64. So yeah, I mean, this is good. Could leave a little more room. Whoa. Accidentally closed the whole thing. Didn't probably remember any of that. No, it did. Okay, good. Try that. Party roster. Yeah, that looks good. Very balanced. Almost perfectly balanced, one might say. Yeah. Feel free to nitpick. Feel free to nitpick. Just don't get emotionally invested in the outcome. Feel free to throw out whatever. I take it all very seriously. I might be dismissive in the moment, but believe me, it bugs me later. Believe me, I agonize about it later. Even if I dismiss it in the moment. I'm always like, was that right? Damn, that was probably right. And then I'll go back and I'll do it. But yeah, that's cleaner. We'll fix the enemy one now too. Okay, enemy roster is a little longer, but that's okay. You know what I'm not sure about is whether summonable units should appear in the roster or not. I guess if they have equipment and stuff, the answer is probably yeah. But if they're just a thing, like almost the effect of a spell, then the answer should probably be no. All right, I think I'm going to put these onto different sprites, maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe what I'll do is I will... I don't know what I'm going to do. But I want to make different sizes. Yeah, that's definitely cleaner. I also am not sure if I want to call this initiative tracker. Or if I want to say, like, turn order. I like the way initiative tracker is spelled out here, but no one actually has initiative as a stat, so I feel like it's going to be random. That'll be part of the input randomness is the order in which stuff will happen. It'll probably be random, but with the caveat of it'll probably be randomize the friendly and the enemy parties and rank them. And then interleave. Just so that it's not like all the enemy goes first and then all the friendlies. Interleave them so that it's like friendly, enemy, friendly, enemy, friendly, enemy, or something like that. If it can be. If one group outnumbers the other, there's not much we can do, but probably be something like that. Rima's, that font is extremely similar to Lords of Midnight on the Spectrum. You knew it looked familiar. It's called Nightwood. That's the name of the asset. Nightwood. I picked it up off a itch. How's it going, Rima's? Let me look at that. Lords of Midnight. Let's take a look at that. I love all of the... I'm clearly, like, nailing some of the more retro aspects of this. Oh, yeah, I could see that. I hope it's not exactly the same font. Why did this load the Play Store? But yeah, if we look at this, it's pretty close in terms of like the vibe. This is great. This is fun looking. This is definitely the style I'm going for. Very bright, solid colors, like very classic RPG. Luxor, the Moon Prince. He stands on the plains of the moon, looking west to the Tower of the Moon. That wizard came from the moon! Rip Destiny. Yeah, I see it. I totally see it. Yeah, I love the lowercase n. I'm like tempted to keep it just because I love that when that letter is present here. But yeah, we should probably call it like turn order or something like that, or combat turn order. It also doesn't need to be this big. I just was like, I wonder what the max number of characters there are. And if there's... Well, I think from a mechanical standpoint, we can fit up to like 5 or something. I could change the thing. Because right now we can't quite fit 6. And 5 is a little awkward. Do I want to be able to fit 6? Yeah, I guess I want to be able to fit 6 enemies, so I should make this a little bigger. How much space do we have until I'm just like on top of the deck? Maybe 4 pixels. Let's see. And just move it down until I'm too close. Rhiannon, is it going to randomize after each full round of everyone making moves? Where do summonable creatures fall into the turn order? I don't think it'll randomize each round of combat. That could be interesting. But I don't think so. Unless maybe there's a spell. It'd be cool if there was like a spell where it could be like disruptive stuff like that. I cast Befuddle. Because manipulating the turn order definitely would be part of a strategy for some people. And then what would summonable creatures do? I think summonable creatures... I'm not sure. I don't want them to be too strong, but I also don't want them to be too weak. So they would... The obvious thing would be to have them just go after their summoner. Immediately after their summoner. But then the player can't plan around it. So ideally, I think what I would do is I would tack them onto the end. But that also might be bad too, so I don't know. We could probably do... What we could probably do is like pick a point between right after the summoner and the end. And we could pick a different point depending on like what difficulty we're on or something. I don't know. It's a good question. It's a good question. Okay, so this... Is this too close? This feels like it might be too close. But also, the party roster should never be this big. And also, I have some more room at the bottom, it seems, for some reason. Let's address all of those things. Let's lower the draw pile a little bit here. Lower the draw pile. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to go farther than this. Is there room here, though? For all 6 cards. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little crowded, but... A little crowded. Not too crowded. And how far up was that? How much did I move it? I think it was 8. Yeah, I moved it 8. Do you want to do 10? Like this? Probably. I don't really like updating that at less than 32. That's nice spacing. How does that feel with the deck placement? It's a little crowded. It's a little crowded, but it's maybe okay. I think I would go up. Yeah, this is, I think, the biggest it would ever be. And honestly, you wouldn't see all of these. I think for a party roster, you'd probably have no more than 4 ever. So this doesn't really matter, but we're going to do the same thing to the enemy roster. The enemy roster, there is no draw pile, but there is a discard pile over there. So we are observing a similar limit. We're observing a similar limit. I could move the deck off of the screen, but I don't think I want to do that. I thought about it, and that could go very badly in terms of like not being like, I think it's okay if it's your hand, but I don't think I want to do that with the draw pile. All right. And then if instead of 6 roster tabs, we just had a character sheet, yeah, we would shrink this back down probably. We go back up 8. Yeah, probably. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make each of these versions. I could get cute and try to like resize or like build this out of multiple components and then like fill in, like slat things in, but it's easier to just replace the whole thing. So I need to add 8 pixels to this, to these bad boys. At the largest point, 232. That's an awkward number. Oh, why didn't I do it the other way? Oh, I messed up the grid. I gotta put the grid back. What's going on in the back here? Oh, that's data that didn't get trimmed. That's still there. That's funny. Oh, that's stupid. Let's fix that. Are there going to be different goals on different types of maps, or is the goal always to wipe out the other party? Oh, I don't know. There are probably different ones. Most of them will probably be just wipe out the other party, but maybe some of them it'll be like you have to kill a specific character. That way you don't have to necessarily worry about ads. You're just going for someone specific. Maybe there's like a protect one. This A-sprite layout is criminal. Hi, bad cop. What's wrong with my A-sprite layout? You don't like the thing on the right? I put my thing on the right if I don't have a lot of frames. If I have more layers than I have frames. You don't like my one-line palette either, probably. I love how it just squishes these 3 buttons so that you can almost not see them at all. How's it going, bad cop? You going to GodotCon next month? Close to you right now, huh? Alright, so I think this is the biggest size that we want. I gotta fix all of this shit. 232. Fix this. 232. So now this should comfortably fit all 6 roster tabs. Or, you know, the maximum number of 6 roster tabs. That's alright. Leaves just enough room for the card. And then, yeah, over here we'll probably have a discard. Fix that. Don't worry about that. Was I going to change this? I thought I said I was going to change this. I don't want to change it much, though. I like initiative tracker, but I do think it's a little confusing. That's like very jargon. That's jargony. Like, if you play D&D, you'll be like, I know what an initiative tracker is. But these guys don't actually have initiative, so I think it's misleading to do that. And then this is too big for when we've just got the character sheet up. There's the initiative thing. I should rename these. So I don't consider them cards. I love how anywhere in Windows, when you ask them for the higher functionality version of a menu item, it just loads some older version of Windows. It just loads the menu option from some older version. So when you ask for like more options, it's just like, I give up. Here's the Windows. Here's what it looked like in Windows 10. And I swear there's parts of the UI where you do that and you're like, is that XP? When you go deep into like, I feel like it goes back even further for some stuff too. When you go mess around with like devices and like old, you're like, let me go look at the registry. But it's very funny. Very funny how that works. I think that's how they do that, but I don't know. I am not a good guesser. Oh yeah, what did I say? I said that combat turn thing is we probably need to make this a little bigger. And that's okay. There's plenty of room. Because I would like a little more room underneath it. These are nice and these get a lot of room to breathe. But I guess maybe this one doesn't need quite as much room to breathe because it doesn't have that hanging Y. So what do I want to... So also, for some reason, this is on the icons layer. For some reason. Oh my god, is it not on the icons layer? Oh, it's on the text layer. Oh, I see. It was on the icons layer. No, it's not. Okay. Weird. Yeah, let's try something else. Let's try... Well, hold on, I need that color. Let's try... turn order. I feel like that's a little too... I feel like that's a little too terse. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough information. I could say combat turn order or unit turn order. But I feel like it's clear what's happening, especially if we have a diagram of like here's the literal order of the turns. The only real question is whether we want like a little thing that like shows the direction where it's like I don't know. Some kind of like turn flow. Do it at the end or something. We have more room we could use. We could use more room and have like have some kind of little thing in the middle. What would that look like? I think it would be like just a simple arrow. But it's hard to do an arrow that is blunted at the end like this. But like something like that would probably look okay. Then we could make room for them. You're never going to have more than like a dozen things on here. But I guess with summonables, I can't actually guarantee that. But there would be some limit, which is basically the amount of space we have across here. There's got to be some limit. I just put 10 things on here just as an example. You can just try it out. Action order. Action order is not bad. We'll try action order. It would be weighted more towards the middle. since action being a longer. I kind of like turn because there will be a button that says end turn, which I should make. I don't know. Yeah, it could be action order, or it could be turn order. Is this 5? We have a little more room here than I thought we did. I don't have quite as much room as we have on the other ones, but it's okay. I'll probably mess around with this. So it'd be action order, or it would be turn order. How's that in terms of balance? It's a lot more centered. It's a lot more centered, which is nice. Let's try combat order. I think that's going to be very not centered. Yeah, it's not. Combat order is kind of cool, though. Let's do action order for now. Can always change our mind. Always change our mind later. It just feels a little more balanced. In the moment, feels nice. Keep calling it an initiative tracker in terms of the file name for now, but it's a little crowded. But stuff like this is only going to be up temporarily. This won't be. This would just be here. It's a little crowded. We might not always render the walls on the outside of a scene. In fact, we might never do it. I have to decide. But even if we did it, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Put the discard pile over here, I think. And then we just need a spot for the end turn button. Hey, Rob. How's it going? It's going okay. We're having a nice lazy Sunday here. We've been working on this game for about a week. Feeling okay. Got a nice UI layout done. I mocked up some character sheets. How are you doing? You know what I need to do is I need to go back and I need to flip the sprites for all the enemies. But I'll probably do that in an Atlas texture rather than do it at the base sprite level. Just so, because all the player characters should face from left to right, and then all the enemy characters should face from right to, or all the NPC characters should face from right to left. Just so that you get that adversarial feel, and it's really easy for you to tell you're busy with university. Yeah, no worries. You're making destroyed animations for boats. Oh, that's fun. Ship it. All right. I think we're going to keep it short today, but I think that I'll still do another 30 minutes or so, so I'm going to let the ad run. But yeah, let's make the different versions of this for different sizes. I'll need to make a bunch of different versions for the different sizes of the action order. That's okay. How many do you think we could support max? One. Well, we'd want to make sure it didn't overlap too much. I think we could support a dozen pretty easily here. I am tempted to put like some kind of little arrow or something to show the directionality. I just don't quite know what or how much space I want to leave for that. But yeah, if you could have 4 friendly party members and 6 enemies, and then though all of those guys can summon units, this could get kind of out of hand. And actually at a certain point, we might need to just do like we might need to compress them. So you know what we could do is we could compress. See, I want to do these as cards too, because we could also take advantage of the card selection and shuffling thing to show these. And then they could be overlapping. And then when you mouse over them, they like spread back out or something, or one pops to the front. Like we could use the same kind of card juice so that you could scrub the turn order. I think that's pretty reasonable. So this version is just totally arbitrary. But I'll improve this over time. I don't care about that right now, really. What I do need to do is I need to make all the different versions of this. And I can do that as a sprite atlas, which is probably what I'm going to do here. So 232. What if we did 512? I put these over here. Doesn't feel quite as centered as I would like for some reason. 2 on that side, 3 on that. Oh, okay, I see. It's one or the other. I think if it's one or the other, then what I would like is this to be over by 1. Like that. And then what's going on with this one? This one's okay. So now we'll just make shorter versions of this, which I don't think we're going to be able to, fit very easily, but I could have extended down instead of sideways, but whatever, who cares? I could also put these on different layers or different frames or something instead, but whatever. So we need a version of this that's shorter. It's just 1 shorter. Yeah, I have some regrets about the way I've set this up. Let's double the height. 464. Anchor it to the top. And then we're just going to put the enemy one underneath the party one. I'm going to lose it if I do that. There we go. All right. That's all right. Yeah. All right, welcome back from the ads. Hope everyone held on to their ads. All right. And now we're just going to make various versions of this that are scaled down. Actually, I should probably go the opposite way, but I don't really care. So the first one just goes down by 8. And actually it needs to be anchored to the top or it's going to behave weirdly when we swap them. Do this first here and then fix the references so that this all looks correct. Yep, it's very wrong now. Fix the enemy roster. So this one is 0. And it's 232. There we go. And then so this one, so the max size one is for if we've maxed out the tab count. And this is the one that fits for the maximum tab count. And then if we are, instead of the tabs, we're looking at a character sheet, then what we want to do is we want to swap this one down by 8. So that would be... Oh, you know what I would probably do is have different texture or different atlas textures. So this is all coded and we don't need to change it. Let's do that. That seems like that makes sense. So is this saved anywhere? Save as... we'll say back. That's what I call this. We'll call this party roster back. 6 tabs. Yeah, why not? Where did I save that? Here. Okay, good. And then what we'll do is we'll change this and make another one. Actually, we'll just make another one instead of trying to futz around with it. Instead of accidentally potentially overwriting everything all the time. You know what? It was probably better to do it that way. So this, then the next one is height -8. So that's 224. Resize. One, 2, 8. Save this. As party roster back. We'll say character sheet. This doesn't fit any number of tabs, right? No. Okay, and then so each tab after the first one, So I would want to reload this. Here we go. And does this resize itself correctly when I do this? Yes, it does. Okay, good. Container updates the size. That's why I wanted to do it this way, so that we can just swap out the Atlas texture in the container, which is pinned to the top here. Will just correctly resize itself. That seemed like the easiest way to do this. So then this minus 32. 32? No, because there's a 2 space gap. So 34. That sucks. That's going to be awkward scale, but you know, we're going to make it happen. So we'll grab this, copy this over here. And then what we need to do, unsnap it. What we're going to do is we're going to copy the text over first. We'll do the enemy one at the end. And now we bring this up 34. So that shouldn't be that hard. So there's 8. So that's minus 32. And then what we need to do is we need to turn this off. Get the last 4. And in fact, I could, if we're going to go by, oh, no, but it's not 32. It's or 36. It's 30. That's awkward. I'm just going to turn the grid off. Or I'll have the grid on, but we're just going to not look at it. And then, so what we need to do is get rid of 2 more. And then bring this down. And we'll just keep going this way until we handle that. So this is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So we need to widen this canvas one more time to be 1024. This is quickly becoming the largest atlas I have, but you know what? That's okay. Shouldn't be a problem. Let's do this. Let's export it. Let's validate as we go along. Try to make this less painful for everyone. And by everyone, I mean me. So then what we do here is we say so that's for the character sheet. This is for the 6 tabs. So we take this, we say 256. Oh, you know, I could leave the size, but I actually want to have the correct size. I don't know what that would be. Is it going to be 198? No. Shouldn't it be, though? Oh, no, it is 198. But we have to resize down here. And then if we get rid of this, it should look good. Yeah. Is that slightly off now for some reason? Did I go too far? This is 32 plus 2. Well, so let's, before we go further, where'd this go? Let's save that. Save as. Party roster back. 5 tabs. This was balanced before. It doesn't feel balanced now, which makes me think I over-trimmed. That's 198. And hold on, where did we start with? 232. Yeah, 232 minus 34 is very often 198. I'd say most of the time. Why does that look weird? Let's turn this one back on. Oh, is that just the way it is? Is that just how I did that? Okay. Let's validate that against this. Oh yeah, I was considering the hanging Y when I was balancing it visually. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Not a problem, I just thought I had this perfectly arranged here. So that there was an equal space between these. But there doesn't actually need to be, but maybe there should be anyway. Because this means... there's about 5 pixels here, and that'll only be 4 when there's an outline, and there's way more pixels down here. So maybe what I actually need to do is just reposition the text a little bit, because this is 5 from here. So yeah, let's move this down by 1. This leaves us 7. 4 from here. Yeah, that's better. So this is 7. So up here would be 6. And that would become 5. Or we moved it down 1. Let's see. We'll just look at it. Move the rest of these down 1 as well. It's very nitpicky, but this is the kind of stuff I get nitpicky about. We'll preemptively move this down by 1 as well. We're all about nitpicks here. Arneo knows that. Yeah, that's better. And in fact, I could probably go farther, but I think this is even now. Yeah, that just looks better. And I can turn this one off and then switch to the other texture. And that relationship, it remains. I think that's good. So let's keep going with that. And then the next thing we do is we make one of these, and then we move it down another bit here. Same thing with this. You know what I should have done is I should have gone all the way to the edge so I could actually make sure I didn't accidentally reposition something. Oh, but this needs to go down now. Okay, so we've got this, and now what we need to do is we need to cut off 34. There are times when I wish I could select multiple layers in Sprite, and that was definitely one of them. Definitely one of those times. It's okay. I can still make it work. All right, and we're just going to go down until there's nothing left. And I know I could pack this. We may or may not do that. I'm tempted to not because I really don't care. We're not going to break the... We're not going to break the video memory bank with this game, I don't think. If we do, something has gone horribly wrong. All right, so now we'll make another... Say... Let's I'm not gonna bother to do the math here. Math it out. 256 plus 128. 384. 384. And the new height is, I don't know, but I guess I could calculate it. The new height is 198. Minus 34. 164. Hey, Nix. You just got the notification? Crazy. How's it going? Happy Sunday. We're cruising on some UI stuff here. This is 4 tabs. So it's usually going to be in this form. This is usually the form it's going to be in, which lots of room, plenty of room, very pleasing. Totally fine. You'll usually have about 4 characters on the field, or your max is usually 4. Maybe we leave some room in case you're like doing a quest and someone's like, I'll join your party. That might totally break the game in terms of like balance or interaction, but maybe it happens. Maybe it happens. If there's a character that has like a pet, you could put the pet in there, I guess. What's up next? The new Android version has a button to erase your background music. It doesn't work too well. Oh, the Android version of Twitch lets you remove my background music. Yeah, I can see that not working well. I'm sorry if you don't like the background music. I like have to have it. If you were, it was maybe before your time, but we have attempted to do streams without background music before. We tried to do the Aramis style, where it's just like, I'll listen to what I'm listening to on Spotify or whatever, and you listen to what you're listening to, and we just hang out. And that could work, but I like us participating in a shared vibe. I don't know. Android itself has an extra button. Interesting. Yeah, I'll check it out. That's strange. Huh. Keep going. We'll keep going through the rest of this stuff, and then I think that'll be it. I think I'll just make my adjustable party roster thing here, and I'll be happy with that for the day. We get a lot of good stuff today. Or I mean, we did our I did the character sheets off stream this morning. I like them. I think they're looking all right. I really like this idea of the class abilities, where like a level 1 guy does not have any class abilities, but as you level up, you get you unlock these class ability slots, and you can put spells in them, or you'll get different stuff. The only question is whether these slots are actually locked. Like, I don't, the only real question is whether these are things you can use and you just place them here. I think that's what it should be. Maybe when you level up a character, the game will be like, oh, sick, you leveled up a character. Choose from like 3 cards of like, choose from 3 different like class abilities, and then it gives you a card for that class ability. And then you can have some flexibility. It means it would be hard to like fully load out a character, especially if one of them died. You'd spend a lot of turns like adding their equipment back, but like that's the kind of setback that I think is acceptable. This purple hurts my eyes a little bit. I do have spotlights on though. It might be the spotlights. You love the honeycomb look to the orange. People have said they like the orange, which is interesting because the orange one to me is the most concerning. It's the only one that, like, the contrast isn't quite high enough between the background and the text. But everyone seems... The only ones I've gotten comments about so far is the orange one. Reminds you of Alien? That's strange. The honeycomb is interesting. I kind of see it. You like it? It looks like candy. I really like the layout. It's the layout to the icons is the same as what we had on Friday, but I just squooshed them in and then made room for the little text boxes on the side, and I'm just like, that's exactly what we need. I think this communicates escalating rarity. The blue one, it feels a little monochromatic for me, but I think it's okay. No, I think it's fine, actually. If you look at them in contrast mode, the gray one's a little bright, but I think that's inevitable when you do gray, because you're just using more channel, more of all the channels. But I think it's pretty reasonable. But yeah, the orange one, you can see how bright it is compared to the others, but it still is readable for some reason. So I kind of want it to be the brightest because it's the final level, and we'll probably do some post-processing to make it look like it glows a little bit or something, or I don't know. I want the level 6 legendary. I want the legendary card to just look awesome. So I'm glad that it's everyone's favorite so far, because it is the one that's the most epic. So what am I doing with this? I'm going to do this again and then reduce it by 34. And in fact, I could just do it like this. So let's take out the 34. Reposition. And then try to get this. That works. I guess I'll do the rest of these first and then check them. So what was it? It's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I said 0, but I guess the difference with the 0 one is we might have some text. Hey, Toasters. I think contrast is fine. You think that is the best out of all of them? Nice. More blue than that. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's maybe a darker blue I could use. The problem is if I go with the darker blues, they dip into the purple. And I think this is very obviously different. Yeah, this one... Yeah, the blue one's a little lighter. We could probably find a slightly darker background color for it. I might play around with that a little. Slightly. I like this one where the values are similar, but there's a little bit of a hue shift. I like this. There's not much of a hue shift happening here. So maybe we do get a background that's slightly darker purple. Because this has a nice hue shift in it. This one has a hue shift. This one, we're back to not much of a hue shift, but it definitely has one. It's just very subtle. So yeah, maybe this one I could improve that a little bit. I could make the background a little more indigo without necessarily going to the purple. I have to see what colors I have available. Hey, Toasters. You got first place in a game jam? Hell yeah. What game jam? Congratulations. That's awesome. That's only like your second game jam or something, right? That's incredible. I don't remember, but I thought in your video you said you hadn't really done any game jams before your speed miner game. Next, you tried out the Gothic remake. Slaps. Nice. I was looking at it. It's not my kind of game. I don't really like the third-person action RPG style. But it's cool. I'm actually not a big CRPG player, I realize. Bit of an issue. Bit of an issue for me, if I'm being honest. Toasters, there were only 5 submissions and 2 were unplayable. Okay. So the best, so it was like, for the games that actually were playable, they ranked 1st through 3rd. That's all right still. You still beat out the other 2. The only person you're really competing against is yourself anyway. As long as you did better, you feel good about your progress. That's what really matters. And if you can say you won, hell, I would take that. I would take that. Yeah, I think I got 2nd place out of like 13 games one time for art. And I was like, I got 2nd place. And it's like, yeah, there were 13 games, Dave. It's like, take it. You take it where you can get it. Why is this all of a sudden the wrong size? What happened? What happened? Oh wait, why is this 1029? Thought I said 1024. I must have typoed. That's cool. What was your game about? Hey, 1st place in your 2nd jam is not bad. However you slice it, you know? What is this gonna be for? 0 games. So I think this last one might be the same size, and I think what I do is I will have text on it of like, it'll be like play a hero card onto the field or something like that. I think we'll have something at the end. I might still make this a little shorter. What was this one? What's the difference between these two? 8? I could swing another 8 off of this. Then we could actually pack these, which I know I said wasn't important to me, but maybe I lied. We'll at least try it. Might not work out. Yeah, because then I can flip these around and pack them. Why not? Otherwise, there's going to be a shit ton of empty space. Actually, what I could do is I could have the enemy roster go the other way. That's the way I could do it. Yeah, why not? Why not? Who's going to stop me? Nobody, that's who. It made me think of Polyphemus. And that makes me just want to go see the Odyssey. You know, and I was psyched for that. Gothic's an OG. First one was great. The second one was really great. You don't talk about the third. Yeah, that was always one of those games. It's like, you know how there are like movies. Okay, this is one of those things that's going to date me immensely. But when you'd go to Blockbuster and there would be the movies, you know, that you'd always look around and you'd be like, oh, what movie are we going to rent today? And there was always the movie that you would carry around with you and you'd be like, one of these days I'm going to rent this. And then you'd always trade it for something else. You'd always be like, I'm going to get this instead. Gothic always felt like that for games to me, where I'd always look at it and be like, oh, that seems kind of interesting. And then I just go play like an Elder Scrolls game instead or something. Right. How am I going to manage this? I think I can turn the grid back. Oh, maybe I can't. What if I do it like this? So this is kind of stupid, but I'm kind of tempted to do this anyway. Where I bring this over here. Whoa, what the F layer are you on? Okay, so why can't I move you? That was weird. How much can I trim off of this now? 178? Okay, what is 464 minus 178? $286. Okay. I know packing this doesn't matter because these aren't. It's not a power of 2 anyway, so like, who cares? But I think it's fine. I think it's fun. I think this is an okay way to do it. So let's do the boxes first. Or what I actually need to do is I need to do this in this order. And if you're like, hey, couldn't you have just done this once and then you reuse the borders? Like, the answer is yes. But maybe eventually I want them to look different. Whoa. Why doesn't this work? Why doesn't this work the way I thought it would? Did I do the math wrong somewhere? Well, that's dumb. Egg on my face. one fits. It's this one. The second one is weird. Oh no, these two work, and then this one doesn't fit the way I thought it would. That's concerning. Makes me think I did this wrong. Is that 34? Yeah, okay. Is this also 34? No, that's why. It's 34 down from here. How do I want to deal with that then? Do I want to just not care? I think the answer is that I don't want to. I want to just not care at the moment. How tall is this? 232. We're going to not worry about that optimization. That's a dumb optimization. We're just going to put everything back, and then I'll worry about what I'm going to do with that later. It's not a terribly meaningful optimization. I can still export this, though. I wonder what this should say. This should say something like, we'll have to come up with some text there for when your party roster is empty. Let's just set this stuff up, and then I think I'll be happy. So let's go for the three card roster, which should, if this is the 4 card tab, then what we do is we set this up. We count. So this is 6, 5, 4, 3. So how tall is this one? 130. Okay. So it's 130. But its region is 512, I think. Yep, there we go. Then make sure that this gets sized down correctly, and that works. And then what I do is we save that atlas texture. 3 tabs. Now we just keep going. This should be 96. I say very confidently. 520. 540. So 640. Save that. You're gonna go to sleep? You gotta wake up in 4 hours? You can suggest to try out the game. Yeah, I don't know. I tried to play Oblivion Remastered, and there was a bit of fun to doing that. I don't know. Anytime I go back to some games like that, I have a hard time. But I appreciate the recommendation. I do want to try to play some games today, though. I want to try to take a break from work. Once I finish my chores. But appreciate you, Nix. Have a good rest of your weekend. All right, now we'll go down to 1 tab. Just 768. And that should just be 64. right? Am I crazy? Hold on, 96. No. 92. Why is this stuck here? Or wait, not 92, 62? Yeah, I think it's 62. Yeah, there we go. And we save that. Resources are your friends. 1 tabs. And then we'll say party roster and we'll say clear. Maybe. For the last one. So we take rid of this. We want like a clear size. Maybe it should be the same size as the action order. That's an idea. Let's see what happens. We already made it, so let's just see what the size is. So minus 30. We said minus 8. So yeah, we... Wait, why did I do that? Why did I say minus 8? Why did I do the things that I did? Shouldn't this be 32? Oh, is it because I wanted it to have the same distinction that this had for some reason. I don't know why. Seems like a stupid reason to do anything. Because yeah, what this should actually probably be is 32. So this is also down by 8, but that leaves us... This is going to be like 34 or some weird size. Oh no, it's 54. That's a very weird size indeed. And this was 62. Yeah, 54 is okay, I guess. Say 54. And then I can't be bothered to do that math. 768. Well, so much for my plan of only going shorter than usual. We're just going to end up having a normal stream length, it looks like. 896. Seems like we just ended up doing the same thing that we normally do. Yeah, so this is not the same length as the action order, but maybe that's good. Because yeah, we want some text here that's like... Actually, what it could be... Well, we have 2 options. We could either have an empty tab, or we could have some text here that's like... Play a card here. Play a unit here. Or play a hero card to build out your... Something like that. Let's see if we can fit that. Play a hero card. Does that fit? Yep, that fits pretty okay. Something like that. To build... I think out your is going to be too long. Oh, maybe not. I might want to just say to build your. Maybe it's to add to your... Yeah. Something like that. How are we doing on spacing? 7. 6? Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Is that at least 4? It's 5. Excellent. Is this also 5? Yeah, it's 6. Maybe that 2 should be lowercase. I kind of like it this way, though. I don't like the shape of that. But we'll try it real quick. Oop. Is this okay? Play a hero card to populate your party roster. There's a little more room we could take on the top, maybe. How far was this away? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9. So this one's on 7. Yeah, that's probably for the best. And then the spacing here is 9 and 7, so I can move this section down a little. But yeah, I think there should be something here when your party is empty. Something like this. Probably need to move it over by 1. Play a hero card to populate your party roster, something like that. For when your party roster is empty. Right now I call them unit cards, but I think a unit card is a base type, and there's like enemy or monster or NPC or something. And hero card is like your... I've been very agnostic about referring to the adventurers as heroes. But I think that's all right. And that ended up being the right amount of space that we needed to express that thought anyway. Again, localization nightmare. The way I'm setting this game up, but that's okay. Wanting to do a localization pass on this would be a good problem to have. All right, what did I save this as? Because for some reason we've already got this. For some reason. 54. I think I still need to save this. Save as, instead of 1 tab, I could call it empty. Party roster back empty. Or I could call it clear. I think we'll just call it empty. Cool. And then so now I can swap these different ones. So it's like it starts empty. Then you deploy, whoops. And you could add 1 roster, one tab, you know. And then as you add more tabs, we dynamically move it down. Right. And then for your party, you're never gonna have more than 4, probably, unless we let you have a unit temporarily as like part of a quest line or something, which we might do. That could be fun. It could be fun if you end up going on an adventure with like the Black Knight or something, or I don't know, we just make up a character or something. And then so instead of that, we could also be in a situation where instead of tabs, you have selected one of those tabs, and now the character sheet has come out. In that case, what you do is you swap this to this one. And then if you're at the beginning of a fight, we'd go back. Like if you're at the start of combat, You might be like this. Might be like this situation. Well, it wouldn't be the start of every combat, because I think an important consideration of this game is that if your character survives, they need to continue to exist in their current form. So, like, it would be more of a deployment thing, where it would be like, there would be a phase where you could deploy pre-populated heroes. We'll see. Whatever. Worst case scenario, this is like a tutorial thing. It explains to you what should be going on. I don't hate the little card art color set that I chose. I mean, obviously I don't hate it because I stopped changing it, but I'm all right with it. So I'll change this back to character sheet version just because it's nice to look at. Yeah, we're doing all right. This is all right. This is all right for 1 week of progress. I think our attitude and approach to this has been so far good. To just be not be precious, to be willing to use assets, to be willing to use plugins, to just move fast. I get a little preoccupied with doing things at a high quality level, which it admittedly is slower than doing it another way, but yeah, thanks LSG. It's all superficial, like nothing works except, you know, the pre-existing card mechanic, but all I got to do is set up the hand, set up a deck. So I got to make a bunch more of these cards. And maybe that's what I do over the next couple of days. Lazily, as I just make a bunch of base cards for like items and units. Because I only need the first 4 characters. And a handful of stuff for them. It's a UI heavy game. It makes sense to need the UI up front. I think so. I think so. But I would have, even if it was a bad idea, I think I would have done it anyway. I'm a very aesthetically driven person. We've talked about it before, about how I like to work out details, and then I go from the specific to the general or whatever. Like I find a detail and then I extrapolate that out. It's like a wave collapse function. A wave function collapse way of doing things. It's not good. The better thing to do is to have some high level vision and then to work out the details from that high level vision. But especially if you don't know what you're doing, or you only have a tangible grasp of what you're doing, but you need to start making progress, I think this approach can be, I mean, this kind of detail oriented approach can at least get you can at least start to see your progress quickly. You end up having to redo work more often. But I think while you're still learning, I think that's all right. I think it's okay. I think I could be doing worse things with my time. Feeling all right though. Feeling all right. Ooh, ooh. Rip Dave Mason, a real one. He was a real one. All right, well, I think that's it for today. LSG, you're not experienced enough. You're more of an F around and find out sort of designer. Yeah, like it's easy for my partner, who is like a literal master of like design, has multiple design degrees. She's like, you know, you need to do your research and you need to start with like a top line like thing, and you need to wireframe it and like figure this out. And I'm like, nah, like that's not for me. I've never learned anything. I'm an F around and find out designer as well. But yeah, I appreciate everyone hanging out with me here for a lazy Sunday. We got barely anything done, but we had a good time. And you know what? That's all right. But yeah, this has been episode 6 of Party Wipe, a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. We're making it fast. We got public playtesting event in about 9+ weeks. So this needs to be playable in such a way that strangers can come up and figure out what's going on. It helps us that our demo is going to be a complete playthrough of the game. Because it's a roguelike, like, you'll be able to play the whole game from the beginning. The only question is how much content there is. And we're only going to have the first 4 characters, so you won't be able to unlock any new characters. Obviously, the whole game isn't going to be playable in 10 weeks, but I think that'll help us for the demo. I think that'll help us test out the whole loop. But yeah. You've yet to win an Against the Storm run since picking it back up. Ooh. I love that game. I should be playing some of that game. I've never won an Against the Storm run. I mean, I have. I've done the first ring or whatever you call it. I'm getting distracted. We could talk about the Against the Storm later. Enjoy that. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all Tuesday. Bye.